There you go, car is started. So when you see ready and on the dashboard, which means the car is already started.
Okay.
It's ready to go.
Okay.
This is the Prius C, which is the small one. We're not getting this. It's a hybrid. There would be no room for the dogs. So that's what we're thinking of getting, Prius Prime. Actually, I think we're test driving this one. I want to get the blue, Kitty wants to get the red. Anyway, our second-hand RAV4 is 10 years old, closing on 300,000 kilometers and starting to rattle. And if we trade it in, we'll get about 4,000 off the price. And if we trade it in now, we'll get some benefits. I think Canada's about to go conservative. We'll probably lose those benefits, so this is the time. The other factor is we'll probably be working for at least one more year, and although you only get about 40 kilometers on the battery, we should be able to get to and from work, and there is recharging at work, so it seems a good deal. We might save realistically about $2,000 to $3,000 in gas over the year. So yeah, we're going to test drive the Prius and the Prius Prime. We're probably going to buy one. And here's Kitty. Kitty has arrived in the old RAV4. Hello, Kitty. Hello. Hey, let's go do this. I never learned to drive. We don't think this is the Prime Blue.
I don't think so.
We weren't going to get this, it's too small.
Right.
And if you want to switch to drive, just go over here all the way down, push down. See the drive over there?
Right.
It's ready to go.
Okay. That's different.
How do you brake? Before we set off?
With the brake.
Okay.
Because the car is not running, the engine is not running, that's why it's very, very quiet.
Right.
So let's go.
Okay.
Wow.
Turn left or turn right?
Which way's better? Because I know
turn
you
right,
got a
turn
whole
over
lot of
here.
construction out front, don't you?
Turn right over here, go straight, and turn right away.
Oh, it's quiet, eh?
It's a full electronic.
Excellent.
Left.
It's a little different because I've been driving a RAV,
Yeah.
so the RAV's a little higher. This
Yep.
isn't too low, though.
You can go up a little bit. Actually, the seats you can adjust it. You have a charging system, a cable, and storage. You can put
So there is
something else in
storage.
there.
That's where that plug in. That's where the plug goes. That goes in.
That's okay. Don't worry. You have a rubber foam and some
these-
mess. Audio cover.
Can it? If we close this, can the dog fit in there? Do you think?
Not really.
I don't think you're gonna put it in the, but you can try.
No, Becky could go in there, but you'd have them next to each other. What do you think?
Nice.
Nice?
Yeah.
Mm.
What do you think?
Very good. I think they'll do what... Nice. I think what they'll do is what they always do, and they'll try and sell us the one on the lot, but we'll have to order the 2020 in blue. So we had the test drive and we liked it. Kitty liked driving it, and I had plenty of comfort in the front. So I think we're going to get the Prius Prime. Yeah. Leap into the dark. So it is hybrid, so we can go to work and charge it at work, charge it at home just on a regular plug. And when we go off grid, we can drive it. It takes about 800 kilometers without the electric, so just with the hybrid gasoline motor, which is good. And I was looking at it while we were driving, and it does recharge the battery quite a lot of the journey, which is also important. So yeah, I think we're going to buy a new car. We said last time when we bought the second hand we'd never buy another new car, but we're going to, principally because of the discounts. You get about $2,000 off plus about $4,000 for our car maybe. And also the 2020 model will have 3 back seats, not the 2, the car we were just in. So there's enough room for the dogs, there's enough room for us, there's enough room for a bit of a car kit. But I'm certainly going to miss the space in the RAV4. So a fraction under 36,000 Canadian dollars.
Okay.
So that's what we're getting with a roof rack. Mud flaps at the front, and you can just plug it in. Well, this will be interesting. Well, that's what we did this afternoon. I taught this morning and got the bus there, and Kitty has a new car. And in case you missed it, I want to go over a few things about why we've bought a hybrid electric vehicle. Quite a few reasons for this. One, we are greenies and we believe in climate change, and we want to do what we can do to help the world. But we wanted to run the car we have, the RAV4, into the ground, and I think we've just about done that. What happened was when she took it in for servicing, they approached her about this and told her a few bits and pieces, so we decided to go ahead and do it. So the actual cost of the vehicle was 41,700 Canadian dollars. I'm still in a bit of shock about that. So that's currently 31,400 American dollars. But we do get a new vehicle. To get the price down to that, we have to pay quite a lot of tax in Canada, remember that. To get the price down, they gave us $3,000 for the old car as trade-in. I think we could have pushed more, but we didn't. And we did get a couple of things extra, because you always do with the car, in terms of maintenance and stuff like that. But we were very careful about what we did there. But for the first 3 years, all labour, parts and servicing is completely free. Plus roadside pickup and hire cars and all that kibazzle. And the actual sticker price for that wasn't that bad per year, so that's why we did that. But yeah, why did we get hybrid electric? Well, this car can be plugged in to my outlet, my 240 volt outlet outside my house, and in about 5.5–6 hours it'll fully charge itself up, which I consider to be useful. If you use a standard charging station, and there is one at work that we're going to access, that takes about 2 hours or so. The charging cable can be programmed, so you can just pull it when you can connect it and walk away, and then it'll start pulling the electric when it's cheap rate. And you can also hook the charger in so you can't disconnect it, which I think is an important thing, so nobody can mess around with the charger while it's in a car park. So I was very pleased with that. The other thing we considered was the fact that we get it at the moment about $2,500 worth of discounts Canadian. That's not going to last. I'm fairly sure that we're going to have a conservative government come the end of this month, maybe not. But either way, I can't see them increasing it. At one time we used to get about $7,000, and we considered at that time going to the electric, but the old car was working fine. And remember, it's not just the gasoline a car uses, but the gasoline and metals in the production of a car. So we got this. It is synthetic leather, which will be good for the dogs and good for the cows. And the mileage is what really triggered us to do it now. Bottom line is, with the electric you get about 40 kilometers on only electric, which doesn't sound great. And because it isn't, it's not a Tesla, but it actually will use the motor as well. So it will recharge whilst it's driving. It will also use the motor selectively. So using a fully charged battery, optimal conditions, using steady highway driving, this thing can clock in just over 1,000 kilometers for a full load, a full tank. And the full tank takes about 45 litres Canadian. Our RAV takes about 49 to 50. We've been throwing gas in that once to twice a week. The idea here is over the next year while we're working, especially with the recharging station here and at work, we should be able to effectively drop our gasoline price down quite a bit. Now, we pay quite a lot for gasoline. Whenever I fill the tank up, and it usually is me, it's costing us about 50 to 60 Canadian dollars a time, so that's once or twice a week. So we're paying about $100 or so a week just for gasoline. The other advantage of this vehicle in Ontario is that Kitty's spending about $130 to get new plates, because our old plates are falling apart, but also she'll get the special green plates. We have high vehicle occupancy lanes, HOV lanes, on most of our highways, and we use it continually when we go down to work and back from work, and it's very helpful because if 2 or more people are in the vehicle, you can use that lane, and it's great in rush hour traffic, especially when we're going home on Monday mornings after nights. But because of the green plates, Kitty can now use that when she's the only person in the car. That's great. and that's a serious advantage. So what we got, we didn't get the basic model, we got the upgrade model, but we didn't get the technology package. The technology package was an extra $3,000, and quite frankly we don't need the car park itself. Kitty's pretty good at doing that. But if you're getting older, that would certainly be something I'd be considering, because literally you just pull it near the car parking spot and hit a button and brake when it tells you to, and it actually parks the car, both normal parking and also parallel parking. So that's kind of useful once you get a bit older. And they have sonar and it warns you if there's a pedestrian behind you and all that sort of stuff. Right now we don't need that level of technology, and we're going to go with just 8 speakers instead of 10, and I think that's just fine. One of the interesting things, it's Apple compatible. Of course, I'm a firm believer in cheap phones, so I have a Samsung, but I guess my Apple that work gave me, that I haven't really set up except to make phone calls, not doing the email thing, can't stand email, will actually recharge in there. There's 3 USB cable connections for the stereo system, so I can plug in the iPad and use that. We're not going to get the Sirius radio and all of that junk, we're just not. What we haven't talked about yet is the GPS. I think we'll end up getting the GPS just because we should, not that we need it. We normally just use paper maps and get lost. But I think it's coming to the point where we kind of need GPS, and an updated GPS would, where we live, give us warning of congestion, which will be nice. So one of the major challenges we're going to have is we have to finish off tidying up the garage, because Kitty's dad's parking his car here, and we're going to have to put that car in the garage, because our cable to reach to the vehicle to charge it, the car is going to have to be right in front of the garage. So that's some work I'm going to have to do in the next couple of weeks. The car will arrive at the end of September, beginning of October, and we'll hand over the big check at that point, and the vehicle will be ours. We've bought it outright. Interest rates are about 4.5%, so that's a considerable saving, and it's basically kind of flatlined us on our savings. But this is something we knew we'd have to do, and we were planning to wait till we retire, but to be honest, I think it's the time to do it is now because of the gas saving, and that's why we've done this. And obviously if there's an EMP, the car probably won't work, but most cars won't work anyway, and in that sort of scenario roads won't be open for very much longer anyway after that. So I'm not particularly worried about that. If it happens, it happens. It probably won't. If it does, there you go. But what I am concerned about is the vast amount of material that I have in our current RAV4. The RAV4 is an excellent vehicle. In gas mileage, this new car takes half the gas that the RAV4 takes, and that was the critical factor for us doing this. Even without the electric motor, with that we're pushing over 1,000 litres on one tank of gas. So that was the key factor for us. But I have an awful lot of supplies in the RAV4, like a ton of them, and I'm going to have to clear them out, rationalise them, and make them a lot smaller for this. So that's kind of the negative of it. But I'm going to look forward to doing a new car kit and putting stuff together and getting this thing on the road. And of course, once we get it, I'll do a follow-up video so you can see what we think driving it around and our impressions of it. And more importantly, what the English Bull Terriers think driving in a car that's silent. I was really happy with it. I'm getting a little deaf as I get older, from where I used to work in the newspaper offices, and it's becoming a bit irritating lately in the car because I'll yell at Kitty because she does talk quietly to speak up, because the car rattles a lot and it is really getting towards the end of its life. And I know not everybody has this kind of money to shove into a car, but we've been saving this up knowing that the new car was going to come for about 5 years just for the car. So if you can do that, great for you, great for us. But if you can't, then if you lease, try and lease when they're making an offer so the interest rate's as low as possible. It's really not a good idea to borrow a car, drive it around, and then hand it back to the car company. That's the cheapest option, and it's the option that's available for most people, but that's a real waste of money. At least this way we have a car. It's not worth a lot once you drive it off the lot, but it's worth something. But crucially for us, we're not paying interest. And as the breakdown of it, we did get $6,000, or actually we got $6,200 off the sticker price, but it still came in at $41,000, but I wasn't that surprised. Anyway, Let me know what you guys think. Would an electric hybrid vehicle be something you'd be considering in your next vehicle, or is it something you just don't want to go there? Toyota's got an excellent reputation. They've already got 12 million EV hybrid vehicles on the road. With Europe going soon to electric vehicles, I'm pretty sure that figure will go up. And we did buy next year's model. But I think the next car might be all electric. But going off grid in retirement, we can't do that right now. Anyway, let me know what you think. We're kind of excited and kind of in shock at how much we just paid out. Toodles! This presentation was brought to you by Bad Terrier Films.